Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmate. My name is Malik A. Bansel. I'm here today to represent my topic, which is eminent domain. So, what is eminent domain? So, pag-uusapan natin dito kung anong ibig sabihin ng eminent domain. So, eminent domain is under the 5th Amendment of the United States Constitution. The government has the right to take private property for public use as long as the property owner is to provide just compositions. So, the government notifies the landowner with a condemnation notice and negotiation a price. The owner has the right to dispute the price in court if needed. If you have question about the government's right to your property, seek out an eminent domain attorney who can explain your right. So, what is eminent domain? So, sa madaling salita, ang eminent domain is a government has that right to take the private property for public use as long as the property owner is to provide just composition. So, ang sinasabi dito, pag ako ang government, or isa ako sa government na yon, is kailangan kong may karapatan akong protektahan ang aking property for the public use as long as pag-aari mo siya. So, kailangan may karapatan ka para protektahan ang sarili mong pagmamay-ari. So, sa eminent domain na yun, is pasok dun yung tinatawag na compensation. So, pag-uusapan natin kung anong ibig sabihin ng compensation. So, ako bilang empleyado, ito yung mga dapat na need or employee compensation definition. So, pag-uusapan natin dito, ano ibig sabihin ng compensation or definition? So, compensation is the total cash and non-cash payment that you give to an employee in the exchange for the work they to do for your business. It is typically one of the biggest expenses for the business with employees. So, compensation is the more than an employee regular paid weeks. It also includes many other types of weeks and benefits. So, sinasabi dito sa compensation is kung ano yung lalabas mo na money for the employee. Ito ibibigay mo sa mga employee mo. So ganun siya. Parang, so halimbawa pag ako may sarili akong company, so dapat talaga kailangan mo ng mga employee. So hindi mo siya anong tawag doon, yung need mo talaga ng mga employee to work sa company mo. So, pag-uusapan natin dito ang types of compensation. First is base pay, hourly or salary wage. So, number 2, sales commissions. Number 3, overtime wage. Number 4, tip income. So, number 5, bonus pay. So, number 6, recognition of merit pay, benefits, insurance, and standard vacation policy, retirement, stock option, and other non-cash benefits. So, ito yung mga types ng compositions sa isang company. Pinag-uusapan dito yung ibabayad mo sa employee mo. So, andito yung mga sales commission, overtime. So, dun sa ibabayad mo sa isang employee mo is iba pa siya. Iba pa yung tip na ibibigay mo as a pag nag-overtime siya or may yun overtime, may tip income. So yung tip na yun siguro is ang galing na yun siya sa mga customer. So pwede rin siguro sa boss if may tip na ibibigay siya sa employee niya. So, bonus pay. So, alam natin lahat na sa lahat ng kumpanya or saan ka man nagtatrabaho is hindi talaga mawawala yung bonus pay. So may merit pay pa. So, benefits, insurance. So, kailangan talaga sa lahat ng work may insurance ka. In case na mag-retirement ka, pwede mo yun siya magamit as a pang gagawin mo siyang business. If in case na yun yung gagamitin mo para sa mga insurance. So, doon pasok din yung mga vacations, vacation policy. So, siguro as a student, kasi nagtrabaho din ako so di ko naranasan yung mga vacations. So pag-uusapan naman natin ngayon ang mga Article 6, which is eminent domain, na pasok dun sa rule number 6, which is Article 32. When exercise, an LGU may, through its chief executive and acting pursuant to an ordinance, exercise the power of eminent domain for the public use, purpose of welfare of the poor and the landless, upon payment of just compensation pursuant to the provision of the Constitution or permanent law. Gagawin mo siyang business. If in case na yun yung gagamitin mo para sa mga insurance. So, doon pasok din yung mga vacations, vacation policy. So, siguro as a student, kasi nagtrabaho din ako so di ko naranasan yung mga vacations. So pag-uusapan naman natin ngayon ang mga Article 6, which is eminent domain, na pasok dun sa rule number 6, which is Article 32. When exercise, an LGU may, through its chief executive and acting pursuant to an ordinance, exercise the power of eminent domain for the public use, purpose of welfare of the poor and the landless, upon payment of just compensation pursuant to the provision of the Constitution or permanent law. So, isa na yung Article 32 na yung binasa ko as yung pinag-uusapan dun is yung LGU. So, ang local government unit. So, letter A yun siya. So, letter B, the power of eminent domain may not be exercised unless a valid and the definite offer has been previously made to the owner and such other was not accepted. So, yun yung pasok doon yung sa Article 32 na yun, yung letter A and letter B. So, susunod natin dito yung Article 33. A public use, purpose of or welfare. The following shall, among others, be considered as a public use purpose of welfare. So, overall dito sa Article 33 and 32-33, ang pinag-uusapan dito is all about the LGU, kung ano ba talaga yung LGU. So ano yung purpose nila as a government. So, pag-uusapan natin dito, susunod na pag-uusapan natin dito, it's all about the definition or mga types na dapat gawin ng isang LGU. So, ang number 1 is a socialized housing. Number 2, construction or extension of roads, street, sidewalk, viaduct, bridge, ferries, levees, worms, or piers. So, number 3, construction or improvement of public buildings. So, number 4, establishment of parks, playgrounds, or plaza. So, number 5, establishment of marketplace. Number 6, construction or artisan wheels or water supply system. So, ang sunod doon is establishment of cemeteries or crematories. Ang susunod is establishment of a drainage system, silt pools or sewerage system. So, sunod, construction or irrigation canals or dams. Sunod doon is establishment of a nurseries, health center, or hospital. Sunod doon is establishment of abattoirs and the building of research, breeding, or dispersal centers of our animals. So, nabanggit ko doon yung mga dapat gawin. So, nabanggit ko na yon yung mga dapat gawin ng isang LGU. Yung una, socializing house. So, ito yung about sa mga bahay siguro o yung para sa mga bahay. So, ang number 2 is a construction of extension of roads. Ito yung mga kalsada, sidewalk, streets, and bridge. So, ito yung pangalawang dapat gawin or nararapat na gawin ng isang LGU. Yung pangalagaan or yung extend nila yung mga kalsada, roads, streets. So, sunod din is sa construction of improvement of public buildings. So, isa rin yung mga dapat tukuyin nila yung mga pag-i-improvement of the public building. Ang sunod dun is ang parks, playground, or plaza. So, matatandaan natin yung topic natin sa kay Ma'am Rohay na naibigay na niya ito maalala ko is pinag-uusapan natin doon yung pagpapalawak or lawak ng isang lugar like sa mga cemetery, plaza, marami pa, nakalimutan ko yung ibang pinag-uusapan natin doon sa topic ni Ma'am. So, andito yung parks, playground, or plaza. Marketplace, like mga palengke, pasok na rin yung dito water supply systems, cemetery, sinabi ko kanina, sementeryo, drainage system, cell pools, or sewerage system. So, andito rin yung mga irrigation, canal, drums, so, nurseries, health center or hospital. So, dapat bilang isang estudyante, need natin yun Need natin bilang estudyante yung mga pangalagaan natin yung mga ako kasi bilang isang estudyante, balak ko na pag ako isang LGU, yun dapat uunahin natin yung pangalagaan natin mga yung pwedeng pagamutan kasi if in case na may mangyari, wala naman ng
My name is Morada G. Asi and I am the reporter of Article 34 and 35. So, Article 34, which is prerequisites in acquiring private property for public use or purpose, LGU should be the first is establish the suitability of the property to be acquired for the use intended. Then, proceed to obtain from the proper authorities the necessary locational clearance and other requirements imposed under existing laws, rules, and regulations. Prerequisite, a thing is required as a prior condition for something else to happen or exist. For example of this, sponsorship is not a prerequisite for any of our courses, but it's required to the student must have prerequisite skills. Another example is the requirements that you have money before you can buy something required or necessary as a prior condition. Prerequisite is a competence as prerequisite to promotion. Article 35. Offer to buy and contract of sale. We have four of contract of sale. First, the offer to buy a private property for public use or purpose should be in writing. It should be specified the property sold to be acquired, the reason for its acquisition, and the price offered. Second, if the owner or owners accept the offer in its entirety, a contract of sale should be executed and payment forthwith made. Third, if the owner or owners are willing to sell their property but a price higher than the offer to them, the local ship executive should call them to a conference for the purpose of reaching an agreement on the selling price. Fourth, the contract of sale should be supported by the following documents. So we have the three following documents for B, three following documents to be supported for our contract of sale. First, resolution. First, First is resolution of the Sangguniang authorities, the local ship executive to enter into a contract of sale. Second, ordinance appropriating the amount as specified in the contract. And third, certification of the local treasurers as to availability as funds together with a statement that such fund should not be disbursed or spent for any purpose other than to pay for the purchase of the property involved. This article will talk about deciding of buying property illegally. And when you decide to buy a property, your realtor will prepare what is known as an offer to purchase. The standard from use for this is called the contract of purchase and sale. Once accepted by the parties, it becomes the contract between the buyer and the seller. So that's all my report. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. I am Bainaika A. Uncle from BSPA PPPA 2C. In this video, I'll be going to talk about and discuss the Article 36 and Article 37 under the Administrative Order number 270, prescribing the implementing rules and regulation of the Local Government Code of 1991 entitled Eminent Domain. Eminent domain is the right of the government or its agent to expropriate private property for public use with payment of compensation. This means that the government has a right to take the ownership of the private property for the reason of the general public use. What are the examples of this? The examples are building infrastructures like highways, bridges, and public parks, or so on, that is a project of the government for the public to use. But what if the LGUs fails to acquire the private property? Okay, the answer would be in the Article 36 that I will be gonna discuss to you. Article 36 expropriation proceedings will do if A. If the LGU fails to acquire private property for public use, purpose, or welfare through purchase, LGU may expropriate the said property through a resolution of the Sanggunian authorizing its chief executive to initiate expropriation proceedings. The local chief executive shall cause the provincial, city, or municipal attorney concerned, or in his absence, the provincial or city prosecutor, to file expropriation proceedings in the proper court in accordance with the rules and other pertinent laws. The LGU may immediately take the possession of the private property upon the filing of expropriation proceedings in the proper court of at least 15% of the property to be expropriated. Now let us proceed in Article 37 that includes the amount to be paid for expropriated property, or in short, payment. Article 37. Payment. The amount to be paid for expropriated property shall be determined by the proper court based on the fair market value at the time of the taking of the property. Talking about fair market value, it means that the fair market value of the property shall be impartial or benefiting neither the buyer nor the seller, meaning it may be lower than the value of the actual value of the property. Fair market value is typically determined by a consideration of what price the buyer would pay and a seller would accept in a low pressure situation.
Good day, everyone. I am Jahaira Disema, and my report is all about Article 38 and 39. So, we'll go to Article 38 first. Article 38, authority to reclassify agricultural lands. So, in this article, ito yung tutulong sa'yo sa mga landowners, kumbaga pa, na if may complications about sa mga properties nila, ito yung makakatulong sa kanila. So first, a city or municipality may reclassify agricultural lands through an ordinance enacted by the Sanggunian after conducting public hearings for the purpose provided for. There exists an approved zoning ordinance implementing its comprehensive land use plan. So, yung example dito is yung kapag bumili ka ng lote, then ang unang gagawin is ipapasukat mo kung ilan yung pasok sa budget, kung gaano kalawak yung pwede mong bilihin, na wala kang matatapakan ng iba, like hindi kahit na konting centimeter lang yan na na nakapangalan pala sa iba. At least 'di ba, hindi ka mahihirapan kasi hindi ka magkakaroon ng problema if sa time pa lang na yon is fixed na siya. Then, sunod, agricultural lands may be classified in the following cases. First, when land ceases to be economically feasible and sound for agricultural purposes as determined by the Department of Agriculture. So, eto siya, tinitingnan muna ng gobyerno if maganda ba yung pagtatayuan nila ng, halimbawa, yung bibilhin nilang lote is for farming, which is yung mga pwede gamitin sa publiko, ganon, like makakatulong sa atin. Then titingnan nila if maganda ba yung growth ng plants doon, ganon, like hindi ba siya applicable ba siya na taniman, ganon. Yun yung titingnan nila muna. Then sunod, where the land shall have substantially greater economic value for residential, commercial, or industrial purposes as determined by the sanggunian. So, i-check mo nila if maganda ba yung space. Like, hindi siya mahirap na puntahan, ganon. Like, kunyari, ikaw, if magtatayo ka ng business, pag bibili ka ng lote, dapat, ang isa sa mga goal mo is yung sa maraming tao. Para hindi ka mahirapan na mahanap ng customer mo. Ganon. Next. Yun lang yung dun sa Article 38. Like, kapag magkaroon ng complications about sa mga lands, yun dun siya pwedeng humingi ng guide. Then, dito, Article 39, limitations. Alam naman natin kung ano yung mga limitations, diba? Lahat naman ng bagay, meron tayong limitasyon. Hindi naman kasi maganda yung sobra-sobra. So, reclassification shall be limited to the following percentage of the total agricultural land area at the time of the passage of the ordinance. So, ito lang yung mga kung ilang porsyento lang ba yung kakailanganin kapag yun sa paglagay ng limitasyon. So, yung una is for highly urbanized and independent component cities, 15% lang. So, urbanized, kumbaga pa na siya, yung parang city na ay hindi siya liblib. Ganun. For component cities and first to third class municipalities, 10%. Hindi siya masyado isolated. Then, yung third, for 4 to 6 class municipalities, 5% lang. Kumaga pa yun na yung, low class. Ayun ko, ganun. Feel ko lang. Sorry. Next, agricultural lands distributed to agrarian reform beneficiaries pursuant to Republic Act No. 6657. Otherwise known as the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law shall not be affected by the reclassification. So, yung Republic Act No. 6657, yun yung Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law since 1988 during time ni Arroyo. So, it is an act of instituting a comprehensive agrarian reform to promote social justice and industrialization. So, dito, sa batas na to, ito yung tutulong nga para hindi ka mahirapan mag-settle ng mga properties mo. Like, yung sa lupa, land reforms, yun yung isang example niya. Best example niya para dito. So, the city or municipality shall provide mechanisms for the reservation and protection of the seigneurial rights of the agrarian reform beneficiaries as provided under the RA 44. So, I think yung example dito is kumbaga pa, if yun nga, bumili ka ng land, ang sinasabi dito na parang katibayan, like, example, yung title ng land. Like, kahit ano pa yung, kunwari, meron mang ang kinaiba doon, ikaw, meron kang rights na sabihin na, ay, akin to kasi nga may titulo ka. Then, maiiwasan mo yung conflict, kahit na ano man ang mangyari. Then, yung last, nothing in this rule shall be construed as reappealing, amending, or modifying in any manner the provisions of RA 6657. So, if yung meron siyang protection under yung Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law, yung sinabi ko nga kanina, kahit na ano pa yung mangyari, hindi siya pwedeng baguhin, kahit sino man. And that's all. Thank you.
Good morning, Ma'am, and good morning, classmates. I am the reporter of Article 40. So, reclassification and excess of percentage limitation. The President may, when public interest so requires and upon recommendation of the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA, authorize a city or municipality to reclassify lands in excess of the percentage limitation set in the immediately preceding article. So, kapag ang Pangulo ay maaaring kapag kinakailangan ng interes ng publiko or ng rekomendasyon ng NEDA or ng National Economic Development Authority ay pinahihintulutan ng isang lungsod o ng munisipalidad na muling magklasipiko or magre-classify ng mga lupain na higit sa porsyento ng limitasyon na itinakda sa kaagad na nagpapatuloy na artikulo. At ang rekomendasyon ng NEDA or ng National Economic Development Authority ay dapat ibase sa mga kinakailangan para sa paggawa ng pagkain, pag-areglo ng tao, pagsasaalang-alang ng ekolohiya. And the second is Article number 41, Comprehensive Land Use Plans. Subject to applicable laws, rules, and regulations, cities and municipalities shall continue to prepare their respective comprehensive land use plan, enacted through zoning ordinances, the requirements for food production, human settlements, ecological balance, and industrial expansion shall be considered in the preparation of such plans. So, ang komprehensibong plano na kilala rin bilang isang pangkalahatang plano or master plan o ang tinatawag na land use plan ay isang dokumento na inidisenyo upang gabayan ang mga aksyon sa hinaharap at isang pamayanan. Nagpapakita ito ng isang pangitain para sa hinaharap. At na may mga malalayong layunin para sa lahat ng mga aktibidad na nakakaapekto sa pamahalaang lokal. Kasama dito ang patnubay sa kung paano gumawa ng mga disenyo o desisyon sa mga panukala sa pagpapaunlad ng publiko at pribadong lupa, ang paggasta ng mga pondo para sa publiko, pagkakaroon ng patakaran sa buwis, like for example yung mga task sa mga big buildings, sa mga malls, and mga intensibo sa buwis, pagsisikap sa kooperatiba at mga issue ng pinipilit na pag-aalala tulad ng pangangalaga sa lupang sakahan o rehabilitasyon ng mas matatandaang lugar at kapitbahayan. Karamihan sa mga plano ay nakasulat upang mabigyan ng direksyon para sa mga hinaharap ng aktibidad sa loob ng 10 hanggang 20 taon. At pagkatapos ng pag-aampon ng plano, gayunpaman dapat makatanggap ang mga plano ng isang isinasaalang-alang na pagsusuri at posibleng pag-update tuwing 5 taon. So, that's all. Thank you. The next article will be reported on the next reporter. Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmate. My name is Alibay Bikusan, reporters of approval of reclassification. Sa all course yung job duties, responsibilities, and required qualification of a position are evaluated and position is assigned a new higher level title that may also warrant a higher rate of pay. Ang ibig sabihin po nun ay sa madaling sabi, paano mo daw ito maaprobahan ang tungkulin mo sa iyong trabaho na kinakailangan ng taglay o kakayahan mo sa isang posisyon. Halimbawa, kapag may problema sa iyong trabaho, paano mo ito maayos ng mag-isa at paano mo masusuri ang pagtaas ng antas na maaaring magpapakita ng pagtaas ng rate o bayad. O paano mo daw ito malalaman na ito ay tumaas o sa anong dahilan ba't ito tumaas ang rate o bayad. Approval of reclassification with approval Approval should not be unreasonable with health failure. Act on a proper and complete application for a reclassification within 3 months. Receipt of the sum should be added as approval thereof. Ibig sabihin, paano mo ito makumpleto ang application ng isang reclassification within 3 months from receipt of the sum should be deemed as approval thereof. At ito lang po ang aking reporter. Next report.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I am Yasmin Omar, the reporter about Article 43, Authority to Close or Open. An LGU may through an ordinance permanently or temporarily close or open any roads, alley, parks, square within its jurisdiction. Sa article na ito, binibigyan ng otoridad o kakayahan ang mga LGU sa pagsara o pagbukas ng mga daanan, alley, parks, base sa municipal or city ordinance. Halimbawa nito ay No Movement Sunday. Isa ito sa halimbawa na pwedeng mapaloob sa article na ito. Sinasara ang mga daanan at mga boundaries tuwing Sunday para walang makapasok sa city base sa ordinance ng city mayor.
Good morning, classmates, especially to you, ma'am. Ang topic ko today is Article 44, continuation of Article 43 for my groupings. And my topic is Article 44, permanent closure. Permanent closure means casing operation of or any part of the facility with intent that the animal holding areas or manual storage area will no longer be used for the purpose. Another definition of permanent closure is a someone or something that is supposed to lose for a very long time. Halimbawa nito, may isang bagay kung saan ang permanent na facility may maaring i-close dahil limitado lamang ito sa publiko or sa LGU. And the letter A, no permanent closure or any local road to street, alley, park, or square shall be affected unless there exists compelling reason or sufficient justification. Therefore, such but not limited to change in land use, establishment of instruction facilities project, and such other justifiable as a public welfare may require. Sa paggawa ng mga fasilidad, limitado lamang sa pagbabago o paggamit ng lupa, sa paggawa ng facility or isang project na maaaring limitado sa paggamit ng lupa para sa kapakanan ng publiko or sa LGU. And the letter B, when necessary, an adequate substitute for the public facility that is subject to closure shall be provided. No freedom shall be permanent without a provision for its transfer or location or a new site. Ang paggawa ng public facility ay permanent na isasara ay dapat ibigay o walang pagyayaring freedom park ay maaaring or magiging permanent na walang pahintulot nito sa LGU para sa paglipat ng bagong lokasyon ng isang bagong site. And the letter C, no such a may or place or any part of thereof shall be a permanent close without a making provision for the maintenance or public safety therein. Dahil sa halimbawa nito, yung pag-aalaga natin sa ating publiko ay limitado lamang ito or maaaring isarado ang mga ibang pasilidad. Therefore permanenteng isarado
ang paggawa ng pasilid para sa kaligtasan or publiko ng LGU. And letter D, a property, a permanent withdrawn from a public use may be used to convey for any purpose. Ang purpose nito yung belong sa permanent closure ng mga property to LGU may be lawfully used to convey, which is ang pag-aari ng mabibilang sa LGU ay maaaring ihayon sa batas para magamit or maparating ito sa publiko. And the last, letter E, the ordinance authorizing permanent closure must be approved by at least 2/3 of all members of a sanggunian. Public meetings shall be first conducted before the ordinance authorizing permanent closure for any local roads, alley, park, and square is enacted. Yun yung mga ang isasara na ginawa ng mga LGU is road, street, alley, park, and square shall be affected na publiko. Ay maaaring i-close ito. Notice of such hearing, copies of the proposed ordinance shall be posted a minimum period 3 or consecutive weeks or conspicuous place. Ibig sabihin, yung mga road, street ay maaring i-close ito ng mga 3 araw or 1 week. Isang naiturang pagdating ng mga kinopya ordinance. Sa ordinance authorizing ay maaring ito magtagal ng 3 araw o sa magkasunod pa na linggo. Magkasamang lugar tulad ng pati isasara din yung mga provincial, capital, city or municipality or barangay hall. Ang purpose nito ay isarado para sa kapakanan ng publiko or sa LGU.
Good morning. Ma'am, and Assalamualaikum again. And my name is Rosana Jikasan, and my report for today is temporary closure in roll number 6, article 45. Temporary closure in letter A, any national or local road, alley, park, or square may be temporarily closed during actual emergency or fiesta celebration, public rallies, agriculture or industrial fairs, or undertaking of public works and highways, telecommunication and waterworks projects, the duration of which shall be specified by the local chief executive concerned in a written order. Temporary closure. This word often used together. You can go to the definition of temporary or the definition of closure, or see other combination with closure. And as follow, number 1 is during fiesta celebration for a period not exceeding in 9 days. And number 2, during agricultural or industrial fairs or exposition for a period as may be determined to be necessary and reasonable. And number 3 is when public works project or activities are being undertaken for a period as may be determined necessary for the safety, security, health, or welfare or the public, or when such closure is necessary to facilitate completion of the project or activities. And in this
is work on two motorways. Motorways involves the temporary closure of carriageway section. And letter B is, kasi yung una is letter B. And letter B, ito na yung babasahin ko. And that third is letter C. And let's go back to letter B. An LGO may temporarily close and regulate the use of any local street, road, thoroughfare, or public place where shopping malls, Sunday markets, FIA or playa ang pagbabasa nito. But playa or FIA is yun na lang po, ma'am. Kayo na po bahala kung saan po yung tamang pagbasa nito, ma'am. Or night markets or shopping areas may be established and where goods, merchandise, foodstuff, commodities, or articles or commerce may be sold and dispensed to the general public. One might be walking along a footpath and suddenly see a temporary closure notice. Is an explanation of letter B. And letter C is no national or local road, alley, park, or square shall be temporarily closed for athletic, cultural, or civic activities not officially sponsored, recognized, or approved by the LGO. And reopening a previously closed test center would be most unless it was a temporary close for operational reason. That is explanation in letter C, and that's all for my report. And sukran and wasalam and good morning, and my name is Rosana Chikasan again, and sukran po.